Yo, what's good, football family, football heads, YouTube? You're back with another video from Digging in the Trenches. And today we're just going to talk a little bit about, I don't know, it's a little late to say it's a post game show. We'll just call it Miami Dolphins discussion video. We're going to talk a little bit about the camp battles that are basically winding down and a couple different things we'll go over today. But the camp battles are basically winding down as we see them right now. I think there's maybe a couple left that I would say, hey, this could possibly be something to look at. And the one battle that's going down now that I'm interested in is the right tackle, obviously. Liam Eichenberg, I think, will be really good if he can stay healthy. I'm just worried about health. And then the battles between him and Jesse Davis. Right now, that's probably the hottest battle in camp. I think the defense is pretty much decided right now, the way it sits. I think we're probably done unless we make a claim. The battle besides right tackle would be probably that last receiver position, which right now, man, you got to juggle it around between a couple different guys. It's still so stacked. With Bowden going to IR and Foster following him, that opens the door wide open for Merritt. And I don't know if you see my video. I made a video earlier breaking down his game. I think he'll probably squeeze onto the 53-man roster. I said it then. I'm going to say it again now. That's what I think is going to happen. Merritt's going to make the roster somehow. I'm still hoping that Scarlett makes the roster, but I think they're going to end up putting Scarlett on the practice squad. But we'll see what happens. I think those are the two battles that are yet to be decided. Would be the last receiver position spot and the right tackle spot. I think everything else is pretty much sewn up besides. Right now I'm having a conundrum on offense. I'm sure most people are. But I pretty much have it done. I'm minus 3 players. I need 3 players left on offense. And we only have, currently what I got sitting here, I've only got 6 linemen. So yeah, we're going to need at least 2 more. I don't know what's going on with Matt Skura. I heard he had a rough practice today. Had some snapping issues, which we're not going to need any of that. Not only that, but I've heard bad reports. Most of his time's been spent on his ass, not blocking people. So if he can't get it together before everything gets going, personally, this is me, I would love to go ahead and make a waiver claim. That's what I would like to do with that. But I don't run the team. My prediction is going to be we're going to make one. We're going to make a waiver claim somewhere, and it's going to be on the offensive line. It's going to be someone who can either play guard and center or guard and tackle, but I prefer guard and center. We need a guard and center. Then I was thinking something in my head today that would probably, especially with this is the last year we can have the international pathways claim on Duval Neto. So Neto, it's like sink or swim. I think we might need to keep this kid. This kid, I think we've already coached him up to this point. I don't think we want to lose our investment. I mean, I think we should probably try to maybe squeeze him on, and we need a guy who can play guard and center. So if you don't make a waiver claim in there, that's probably because they're going to keep Neto and he can maybe snap the ball a little bit. If he can snap the ball a little bit, then, hey, that's the guy we want. Unless Darrell Williams or James Ferentz or there's one more guy I really wanted. Oh, yeah, Ross Perschbacher. If any of those 3 come available, we want them. As far as that goes, I'm sure everybody heard about that trade from the to the Patriots from, I think it was whoever it was. But Sean Wade getting traded to the Patriots. You can tell they're trying to scramble, I think, in order to keep up with our wide receiver core, which is looking it looks good now. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we get into the video because there's more to talk about with the wide receivers. It's just a little bit more in depth. But that trade, you can tell they're trying to have a good defensive backfield, and that Wade kid's actually pretty good in the slot. I know a lot of people. He didn't get as highly touted in the draft as a lot of people thought he was, but I think he's still pretty good. All right, let's get to the skinny of this. God. All right, the Dolphins receivers are hurt all the time, and everybody knows that. We're infamous for having hurt wideouts, and once again, like Parker, Wilson, and Fuller haven't even really played. Now, is he just keeping them out for preliminary caution reasons? Probably. I would too. And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't play him at all. And the reason why is because you don't want him to get hurt. Is something going to happen with that position? I don't know. We can't keep everybody. I mean, look, I'm down to 3 spots open on the roster right now on offense, and I mean, still you got, no Jakeem Grant, then no, sorry, there's like some thunder outside that scared the hell out of me. No Jakeem Grant, no Skura, and no Little. Well, that's another thing I need to talk about. Is he was looking pretty good in practice from what I read in reporters. Again, this isn't with my own eyes. I'd love to see it with my own eyes. And I'm thinking in my mind, man, they probably wouldn't mind losing the 7th round pick, but they could be tempted to go ahead and just keep Little and keep Neto. And then there's 2 players right there out of the 3 you need, and then maybe just keep Jakeem. Boom, Jakeem Grant, Duval Neto, and Little. See if Neto, whoops, excuse me, flipping you off. If Neto can snap a little bit, then I think it's set in stone that that's who they're going to roll with, is Neto playing some guard and center if he has to, emergency. And then Little, and then maybe they find a spot for Skur and he squeezes over to, like, I guess he can play backup center, but I really don't want someone in there with snapping issues or gets pushed on his ass. The pushing on the ass part is the part I really hate, and I don't like the messed up snaps. Can't happen. So we got to figure that out. The center part is what's really scares the shit out of me, is the center. So I think it might come down to us keeping Little, Neto, and Jakeem. I know no one wants to hear us keeping Jakeem, but there's no one else back there to return the punts besides Waddle, Holland, Igbo, or Merritt. Maybe Merritt, but I don't know. We'll see. Those are the concerns I have. And then there's also another concern that I think that's why they're going to keep 4 tight ends in Shaheen, Gesicki, Smythe, and Long. Now, the injury concern I have is with Hunter Long. He's still probably sore and dealing with some, bumps and bruises or whatever. But we'll see what happens with that. But I think they're going to keep 4 because of that reason right there. I don't think they'll make any claims, on defense, but the ones, I have a list. We'll go over the list. But the ones that stood out on that list to me, I already put off to the side here. On offense would be Rodney Smith, of course, the former Minnesota Golden Gopher running back. Drake Jackson out of Kentucky, the former center there, who's was an undrafted free agent this season. Yes. And then Austin Watkins, I looked up into that, and I think that's a no-go for us. He's got a broken foot, so we can't do Austin Watkins unless he heals from it and we get him somewhere later. Brings me to just something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Are they really committed to keeping Reed Sinnett as the 3rd string quarterback and the guy who's going to run the practice squad? If they're really committed to that, then fine. Be committed to that. But I'd rather go ahead and tell Reed, hey, thank you for your service and what you've done for us. Coach, maybe you can catch on somewhere else. And I would go ahead and try to get, if Anthony Gordon clears waivers, I would try to make him your 3rd string quarterback and put him on the practice squad over Reed Sinnett. The other guy that stood out to me was this Evine, his last name is crazy, Seisnerak Seisnerak. It's Kiezarczzyk. Seisnerak. He's a tackle, but I did do a little bit of research on him. It was a couple years ago, but I remember the name. And the kid can block a little bit, but might need some refining into an NFL program, training program to get a little bit stronger at the point of attack. There are other players that are going to be out there on the waiver wire that could be potentially out on the waiver wire. We need help on the line. I think everybody would agree. I mean, like I already said, if Darrell Williams, he's one of them that's on my list right here. Prince Wanagu, they both play for Kansas City. Jake Eldrenkamp, Tristan Colon Castillo, I think he's with Baltimore center. Trey Hill. Trey Hill's, I think, third string on the Bengals team right now. If he was to get released, I'd be interested in that. Owasaka, I'd be interested in him. He's a rookie, but I think he's like fourth string on the depth chart. Ross Pierschbacher, we already talked about him. Rodney Smith, we already talked about him. Definitely interested. Jake Driscoll, I don't know how that didn't make my list over here. Probably because I doubt the Eagles are going to get rid of somebody like that. They would probably want to trade, which I would entertain one. Then you got someone like Carson Green. He probably won't make the Texans roster over there. Here's a defensive one I really like, but the Niners will never let go of Hufanga. If they let go of Hufanga, they're stupid and crazy. But a receiver that I'm interested in, kind of, and I know we got a lot of receivers, but which one of them is healthy consistently? None of them, besides maybe Waddle. Look, now even he's having some issues here and there. I'm going to let it play out before I make my complete judgment on anybody. But Cade Johnson, he was a former South Dakota Jackrabbit, I think it is. But he's sweet inside the numbers. Real good receiver that's underrated, and he had a real good showing out at the combine as well. Plus during one-on-ones was awesome. Also another receiver that could be out there, former Miami Dolphin Matt Cole. Great special teams guy. If they brought him back, I wouldn't complain. I mean, we need some healthy bodies, I think, at the wide receiver spot. It scares me just a little bit. But there's some guys out there that I wouldn't mind even bringing in. Some centers, especially some centers. Oh, there's another guy, too, I didn't put off the list. Ben Braden. I think he's like number 2 or number 3 for Green Bay right now. If they were to cut someone like that, I would be interested to stiffen up that right side and, help us in general. But thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like the channel. Love talking football with you guys. Eventually, maybe we'll do some live stuff. We'll see. But right now, we'll keep the videos coming as much as we can. Been working a lot on some other stuff, and I got some other news too, maybe coming down the pipeline here. We'll see what happens if it all works out. All right, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Deuces.